Amina was a beautiful black African woman. She lived in a small town where everyone knew each other. She was kind, hardworking, and always helped people in her community. But there was one problem. No man ever asked her for a love relationship. Every day, she watched other women get married, have children, and build families. She felt lonely. She asked herself, why does no man want me? Am I not good enough? Her friend told her, don't worry, Amina, the right man will come. But the years passed and no one came. One night, she sat alone in her small house, thinking she wanted love. She wanted someone to hold her, to talk to her, to share her life with, but she did not know what to do. The next morning, Amina woke up with a new determination. She told herself, I cannot just sit and wait. I must do something. She decided to focus on herself first. She bought new clothes, changed her hairstyle, and started smiling more. People in the town noticed the change. Amina, you look different, they said. She also joined new activities. She started going to the market more often, helping at community events, and even learning how to use social media. She saw other women posting pictures with their husbands and boyfriends, and it made her feel sad, but she did not give up. One day, she met a kind old woman in the market. The woman looked at her and said, my child, love will come when you least accept it. But you must open your heart. Amina thought about those words. Maybe she was too afraid of rejection. Maybe she never gave a man a chance to know her. She decided to change that. That evening, she went to a wedding in the village. The music was loud. People were dancing and laughter filled the air. Amina sat alone at first, watching the couple enjoying themselves. Then, a man she had never seen before walked up to her and said, would you like to dance? Her heart started beating fast. She looked at him, unsure of what to say. Amina hesitated for a moment. She had never danced with a man before. But then, she remembered what the old woman told her, open your heart. She took a deep breath and smiled. Yes, I would love to dance. The man took her hand gently and led her to the dance floor. His name was Daniel. He was not from the village. He was visiting his cousin, the groom. As they danced, Amina felt something she had never felt before: excitement, happiness, and a little nervousness. You have a beautiful smile, Daniel said. Amina blushed. Thank you. They talked as they danced, and she learned that he worked in the city. He was kind, funny, and easy to talk to. For the first time in a long time, Amina felt special. After the wedding, Daniel asked, can I see you again? Amina was surprised. No man had ever asked her that before. She nodded. Yes, I would like that. The next day, she found herself thinking about him. Was this the beginning of something new? But deep inside, she was also afraid. What if he was like other men who only play with a woman's heart? As days passed, Daniel kept his promise. He visited Amina whenever he could. They talked for hours, laughed, and shared their dreams. She felt herself opening up, but at the same time, she was scared. One evening, as they sat under a tree, Daniel looked into her eyes and asked, Amina, Do you believe in love? Amina did not know how to answer. She wanted to believe, but she was afraid of getting hurt. She looked away, feeling confused. Daniel gently held her hand. I don't want to rush you, but I want you to know I liked you, and I want you to know if you feel the same. Amina's heart raced. No man had ever said these words to her before. She wanted to believe in him, but could she trust him? She looked at him, trying to find the right words. Amina looked into Daniel's eyes, searching for any sign that he was lying, but all she saw was warmth and honesty. She hesitated, her heart beating fast. I don't know, she finally said. No man has ever liked me before. I don't know what love feels like. Daniel smiled gently. Love is not something you have to understand all at once. It's something you feel. It grows with time. Amina sighed. But what if you change? What if you leave me one day? Daniel squeezed her hand. I cannot promise the future, Amina, but I can promise that right now I care about you and I want to know you better. Amina felt something new inside her. Hope. Maybe she had spent too much time fearing love instead of giving it a chance. From that day, she allowed herself to open up little by little. She and Daniel spent more time together. He showed her new places, introduced her to his friends, and even taught her how to use social media to connect with people outside the village. Not everyone was happy about their growing relationship. Some women in the village whispered behind Amina's back. Why is she with a man from the city? One said, she is too desperate. Another added. Amina tried to ignore them, but their words hurt. She wondered if she was making a mistake. One afternoon, she sat alone, thinking. Daniel had been nothing but kind to her, yet she still felt afraid. Just then, she heard a knock on her door. It was Daniel. I noticed you've been quiet lately, he said. Is something wrong? Amina wanted to tell him everything, but she was afraid of sounding weak. She looked at him, unsure of what to say. Daniel sighed. Amina, if you do not want to be with me, I will understand. But please, don't let fear stop you from being happy. Amina felt tears in her eyes. She had spent so many years believing no man will ever want her. Now, when one finally did, she did not know how to accept it. She took a deep breath. Maybe it was time to let go of her fears. Maybe it was time to trust. She looked up at Daniel and finally said, I am scared. Daniel's face softened. Scared of what? Amina hesitated, then sighed. Scared that this will not last. Scared that you will change. Scared that you will change your mind. Scared that I will be living in love, only to be left alone again. Daniel gently took her hand in his. Amina, love is always a risk, but if you never take the risk, you will never know what happiness feels like. He looked into his eyes, searching for any sign of dishonesty, but Daniel did not look away. He held her gaze, patient and kind. Amina took a deep breath. Maybe he was right. Maybe it was time to take a chance. I want to try, she said softly, but I need time. Daniel smiled. I will wait for as long as you need. From that day, Amina allowed herself to trust Daniel a little more. They spent their evening talking under the stars. He told her stories about the city, his family, and his dreams. She shared her fears, her past, and the pains of always feeling unwanted. One evening, as they sat by the river, Daniel searched into his pocket and pulled out a small bracelet made of colorful beads. "I made this for you," he said, placing it on her waist. "Whenever you feel afraid, look at it and remember you are not alone." Amina smiled. Touched by the gesture, she ran her finger over the beads, feeling warmth spread through her heart. But their happiness did not go unnoticed. The whispers in the village grew louder. Why is she trusting him so quickly? He will leave her once he gets bored. She is foolish to believe in love. Amina tried to ignore them, but the words stuck in her mind. Doubt started creeping back in. One day, while walking through the market, she overheard two women talking. "I heard Daniel is leaving soon," one of them said. "Really? Poor Amina, she thinks he will stay," the other replied. Amina's heart stopped. Leaving? Daniel had never mentioned anything about leaving. That evening, when she met him, she forced herself to ask, "Daniel, are you planning to leave?" Daniel looked surprised. "What? No. Who told you that?" Amina hesitated. "People in the village are saying it." Daniel sighed and took her hand. "Amina, I am here because I want to be. But if you do not trust me, then this will never work." Amina looked down, struggling with her emotion. She wanted to believe him, but fear held her back. She knew she had to make a choice: listen to the voices of the doubt or trust the man in front of her. She took a deep breath and finally said. Daniel gently lifted her chin, forcing her to meet his gaze. Then, "Let me help you," he said softly. "But you must promise me one thing. Don't let other people's words decide your happiness." Amina felt a tear roll down her cheek. She realized that all her life she had been waiting for someone to love her. Yet, when love finally came, she was too afraid to accept it. At that moment, she made her decision. She will no longer let fear control her. She smiled through her tears and whispered, "Okay." Daniel pulled her into a warm embrace, and for the first time in her life, Amina felt truly safe. As days turned into weeks, their love grew stronger. The village whisper never stopped, but Amina no longer cared. She had found someone who saw her worth, who treated her with kindness and patience. One evening, as the sun set over the hills, Daniel took her hand and said, "Amina, will you be my wife?" Tears filled her eyes, but this time they were tears of joy. Without hesitation, she nodded yes. "Daniel, I will." The village that once doubted her now celebrates with her. She had spent so many years believing she would never find love, but in the end, love had found her. Amina had finally learned that love was not about waiting, it was about believing, trusting, and opening one's heart to happiness. And so, she stepped into a new chapter of her life, no longer afraid, but full of hope. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this.